For 8 months, Sarah hadn't moved, hadn't responded, hadn't shown any sign of consciousness, until Prince played the third note of Purple Rain. What happened next wasn't just medical miracle. It was proof that some things science can't measure. It was the 14th of August, 2009, at Abbott Northwestern Hospital in Minneapolis. Room 412, Sarah Chen, 27 years old, had been in a coma for 247 days following a car accident on New Year's Day. The doctors had done everything possible. CT scans showed minimal brain activity. Tests showed no response to stimuli. The prognosis was clear: Sarah wasn't coming back. Her family, mother Linda, father James, younger brother Michael, had been keeping vigil. 8 months of sitting by her bedside, talking to her, playing her favorite music, hoping for any sign, any movement, any indication that their daughter, their sister, was still in there. Nothing. Dr. Patricia Williams, Sarah's neurologist, had called a family meeting for the 17th of August, the conversation everyone had been dreading. The one about letting go, about removing life support, about saying goodbye. But Sarah's mother had one last request. "Before we make any decisions," Linda said to Dr. Williams, "I need to try something." Sarah's favorite musician was Prince. She'd been to every concert he played in Minnesota. She had Purple Rain playing on repeat before the accident. Is there any way at all we could get him to come here, to play for her? Dr. Williams's expression was compassionate but realistic. "Mrs. Chen, I understand wanting to try everything. But Prince is, I know it is unlikely. I know it sounds crazy. But I need to know we tried everything, even the impossible things." Dr. Williams paused, then said something that changed everything. "My husband works at Paisley Park. In the technical department, I can ask him to pass along a message. But Mrs. Chen, you have to understand, the chances of Prince responding are, I understand. Please, just try." Dr. Williams's husband, Marcus, had worked at Paisley Park for 6 years. He'd learned early on that Prince received hundreds of requests every week. Concerts, appearances, charity events. Most went unanswered. Not out of cruelty, but out of necessity. Prince couldn't say yes to everything. But Marcus passed the message along anyway, wrote it on a note, and left it in Prince's private mailbox, the one only a few people had access to. He didn't expect a response. 2 days later, the 16th of August, Marcus's phone rang at 11:47 p.m. "This is Prince. You left me a note about a coma patient." Marcus sat up in bed. "Yes, sir. Sarah Chen. She has been unconscious for 8 months. Her family asked if there was any chance you could visit." "Tell me about her." Marcus relayed what his wife had told him. Sarah's age, the accident, her love for Prince's music, the family's decision to remove life support, their one last hope. Prince was quiet for a long moment. Then, "What is the hospital address?" "Wait, you are actually going. Tomorrow, 2 p.m. Tell them I am coming. And tell them I need something, anything. A piano. In her room, I don't care how they make it happen, but I need a piano." The next morning, Abbott Northwestern went into controlled chaos. Prince was coming to play piano in a patient's room. The logistics were insane, but everyone worked to make it happen. They brought in an upright piano from the hospital's chapel, wheeled it down corridors, squeezed it into room 412. It barely fit alongside Sarah's bed and all the medical equipment. Linda, James, and Michael arrived at 1:30 p.m. Dr. Williams briefed them. "I need you to understand something," she said gently. "This is extraordinary. What Prince is doing is incredibly kind, but please don't hope for more than a beautiful moment. Sarah isn't going to wake up. Her brain activity hasn't changed. This is for you, for closure, for knowing you tried everything." Linda nodded, tears already forming. "I understand. I just needed to know we gave her music one more time. That is all." At 1:58 p.m., Prince walked into Abbott Northwestern through a side entrance. He wore a simple purple suit, dark sunglasses, a fedora. He looked smaller than people expected, quieter, more human. Dr. Williams met him at the elevator. Prince, I can't thank you enough for. Where is she? Fourth floor, room 412. But before we go up, I need to explain what you are going to see. Sarah is on life support. She is not responsive. Her family will be there. It might be difficult. Prince looked at her. I've played for dying people before. I understand. When Prince entered room 412, he stopped just inside the doorway. Sarah lay in the hospital bed, tubes and wires connecting her to machines that beeped steadily. Her face was peaceful but empty, like a house with no one home. Linda stood immediately. Prince, we can't thank you enough. Sarah loved your music so much. Her voice broke. Prince walked to the bedside. He looked at Sarah for a long moment. Then he turned to the family. Tell me about her. Not the accident, who she was. James spoke first, his voice rough with months of grief. She was a teacher. 2nd grade. She loved those kids like they were her own. She'd stay late to help the ones who struggled. Brought her own money to buy supplies when the school ran out. She was kind, Michael added. Sometimes too kind. She'd give anyone a second chance. 3rd chance. She believed in people. What did she love about music? Prince asked. Linda smiled through tears. She said your music made her feel brave, like she could do anything. Purple Rain was her anthem. She'd play it before job interviews, before tough conversations, before anything that scared her. Prince nodded slowly. Then he sat at the piano. The bench creaked. The room's machines continued their steady rhythm. Sarah remained motionless. I am going to play something for her, Prince said. Not for you, for her. I don't know if she can hear it, but I am going to play like she can. Prince's hands settled on the keys. He closed his eyes and began to play. The song was Purple Rain, but not the version anyone knew. This was stripped down. Raw, just piano and silence. No drums, no guitar, no production, just the melody in its purest form. He sang quietly, intimately, like he was having a private conversation. I never meant to cause you any sorrow. The machines continued beeping. Sarah didn't move. The medical monitors showed no change. Linda gripped her husband's hand. Michael stared at his sister, willing her to respond, to give any sign. Prince kept playing, his voice gentle but full of emotion, every note deliberate, every word weighted with meaning. When the song ended, silence filled the room except for the machines. Sarah's monitors showed no change, no movement, no response. Dr. Williams, standing in the corner, felt the weight of it, this beautiful, generous gesture. But biology didn't care about beauty. Comas didn't respond to kindness. Prince sat at the piano, hands still on the keys. I am going to play one more, different, something she might not know. Prince began playing an original piece, something he'd never recorded, a melody so beautiful it made Linda start crying again. And then, at the 3rd note, Sarah's left hand twitched. Michael saw it first. Mom, did you see? I saw it, Linda whispered. Dr. Williams moved quickly to Sarah's bedside, checking the monitors. Her heart rate had increased, slightly, just barely, but measurably. Prince kept playing, but his eyes were open now, watching Sarah. Another note. Sarah's fingers curled slightly, then relaxed. That is voluntary movement, Dr. Williams said, her voice tight with disbelief. That is not random. That is. Prince played the next chord, sustained it, and Sarah's eyes moved beneath her closed lids. Rapid eye movement, REM, the kind that indicates consciousness. Keep playing, Dr. Williams said urgently. Don't stop. Prince didn't need to be told. His hands found the melody again, repeated it, built on it. The music filled the room. Sarah's monitors began changing, brain activity spiking, heart rate increasing steadily, blood pressure rising. This isn't possible, Dr. Williams whispered, staring at the readings. Michael gripped the bed rail. Sarah, can you hear us? Prince transitioned smoothly into Purple Rain, the familiar opening chords. Sarah's anthem, the song she'd played before everything that scared her. And Sarah's eyes opened. Not slowly, not gradually, just open, staring at the ceiling. Linda gasped. James made a sound between a sob and a laugh. Michael started crying. Sarah, Linda moved to the bedside. Baby, can you see me? Sarah's eyes moved, focused, found her mother's face. Then, slowly, impossibly, her gaze shifted, tracked across the room, found the source of the music, found Prince. Her lips moved, no sound at first. Dr. Williams leaned in, listening. Purple Rain. Sarah's voice was barely a whisper, hoarse from months of intubation, but it was her voice. Her words. Prince kept playing, but his own eyes were filled with tears now. You are here, Sarah whispered, looking at Prince. You are really here. Have you ever witnessed something that science couldn't explain? Something that made you question what you thought was possible in that hospital room? Everyone watched as music reached a place medicine couldn't. As melody and memory pulled someone back from a place doctors said she'd never return from. What would you have felt in that moment? Prince finished Purple Rain, the last notes hanging in the air like a prayer answered. Sarah's eyes stayed open, tracking him, focused in a way that shouldn't have been possible after 8 months of nothing. Dr. Williams was already on her phone, calling for the neurological team. I need a full assessment in room 412. Now the patient is conscious. But Prince stayed at the piano, looking at Sarah. How do you feel? Sarah's lips moved slowly, forming words with effort. Tired, confused. But I heard you the whole time. Linda gasped. You heard us all these months. Not everything, not always. It was like being underwater. Sounds were muffled, far away. But music. Sarah's eyes found Prince again. Music came through clear, especially yours. What did you hear? Prince asked quietly. My mom played Purple Rain every day. I heard it. I tried to move, to show I was there, but I couldn't. My body wouldn't respond, but I heard every note. Prince stood and walked to her bedside. He knelt so they were at eye level. You came back. Do you know why? Sarah thought about it. The third note of your song. The one I didn't recognize? Something about it. It felt like a door opening, like permission to come back. Over the next hour, 3 neurologists examined Sarah. They ran tests, checked reflexes, measured brain activity. Every result defied their understanding. Her scans from this morning showed minimal activity, Dr. Williams told the team. Classic vegetative state patterns. Now she is responsive, communicative, showing normal cognitive function. This doesn't happen. Not like this. Not this fast. What changed? Another doctor asked. Music, Dr. Williams said. Prince played, and she woke up. That is not a medical explanation. No, Dr. Williams agreed. It is not. Prince stayed for 3 hours, not performing, just present. He watched doctors work. He answered their questions about exactly what he'd played, in what order, at what moment Sarah responded. They documented everything, trying to find a scientific explanation. There wasn't one. Sometimes, Prince said as he prepared to leave, the explanation isn't in the how, it is in the why. Sarah came back because she had a reason. The music reminded her what she was fighting for. He turned to Sarah's family. Take care of her. She has been given something rare, a second chance. Before he left, Prince returned to Sarah's bedside one more time. He leaned close and said something only she could hear. Years later, Sarah would reveal what he said. The music was always yours. I just played it. You did the rest. Sarah's recovery was remarkable. Within days, she was talking normally. Within weeks, she was walking with assistance. Within months, she returned to teaching. The medical journals called it unexplained emergence from persistent vegetative state. The media called it a miracle. But Prince called it something else. Proof. Proof of what? A reporter asked him in a rare interview 3 months later. Proof that consciousness doesn't live in the brain alone. It lives in connection. In memory, in the things that matter to us. Sarah came back because the music connected to something deeper than neurons and synapses. The incident changed how Prince thought about performance. He started visiting hospitals more often. Not always coma patients, sometimes children with terminal illnesses, sometimes elderly patients in hospice. He never publicized these visits, never used them for press. "Music isn't entertainment," he told his tour manager. "It is medicine, and I am just now understanding what that really means." 3 years later, in 2012, Prince funded a study at Abbott Northwestern. The study examined the effects of live music on coma patients. The results showed measurable brain activity increases when patients heard music they loved, played live. It wasn't Sarah's case that remained unexplainable by science, but it suggested what Prince had understood in that hospital room. Music reaches places medicine can't measure. Today, Sarah Chen is 39 years old. She still teaches second grade. She married Michael's best friend in 2014. She has 2 children who both take piano lessons. And every the 17th of August, the anniversary of the day she woke up, Sarah visits Abbott Northwestern. She brings flowers to Dr. Williams, who is now retired. She stops by room 412, which is usually occupied by someone else, and stands in the doorway for a moment. Then she goes to the hospital chapel and plays piano. Always Purple Rain, always the same way Prince played it that day. Stripped down, honest, raw. "People ask me what it was like," Sarah said in a 2018 interview, "being in a coma, hearing but not responding. They want to know if I saw anything, if there was a light, if it was peaceful. But here is the truth, it was terrifying. I was trapped. I could hear my family crying. I knew they were going to let me go, and I couldn't tell them I was still there." She paused. But when Prince played, something changed. It wasn't the music itself. It was what the music represented. It was my mom's voice saying, this was Sarah's favorite. This is who she was. It was permission to fight, to come back, to be me again. When Prince died in 2016, Sarah was devastated. She wanted to speak at his memorial, but was too overwhelmed. Instead, she wrote a letter that was read at his service. "Prince gave me my life back, not just by playing music, but by understanding that sometimes the most important performances are the ones nobody sees, the ones that aren't about applause or recognition, the ones that are just about being present for someone who needs you. The greatest gift we can give someone isn't our talent or our fame. It is our presence." Prince could have sent a recording. He could have sent flowers with a note. But he showed up. He sat at a piano in a hospital room and played for someone who, according to science, couldn't hear him. And she heard him. Not just the music, but the message: you matter. You are worth fighting for. Come back. Share this story with someone who needs to know that sometimes the impossible is just the unexplained. Because Sarah was gone for 8 months, and a melody brought her home. For 247 days, Sarah Chen was gone. Not dead, but unreachable, trapped in a place between consciousness and void. Her family kept vigil. Doctors monitored. Machines beeped steadily. And then Prince played 3 notes of a song no one had ever heard. And Sarah moved. Science has no explanation. The neurologists documented everything. The exact moment, the specific notes, the measurable changes in brain activity. But they couldn't explain the why. They couldn't explain how music reached a consciousness that medicine said wasn't there. Prince understood what the doctors didn't. Music isn't just sound. It is connection. It is memory. It is a thread that ties us to who we are and who we love. Sarah came back because Purple Rain wasn't just a song to her. It was her anthem, her courage, her fight. And hearing it, played live by the person who created it, reminded her unconscious mind of something her conscious mind had forgotten. She had a reason to come back. Prince spent 2 hours in that hospital room. He could have played for 5 minutes and left. He could have sent a recording. He could have said no to the request entirely. But he understood something profound, sometimes showing up as the entire point. The medical journals call Sarah's case spontaneous recovery from vegetative state. The media called it a miracle. Prince called it proof. Proof that consciousness listens in ways we don't understand. Proof that music reaches places medicine can't measure. Proof that sometimes the impossible is just science catching up to what the heart already knows. Sarah Chen woke up on the 17th of August, 2009, at the third note of a Prince song. But really, she woke up because someone showed up when everyone else had given up hope. Music didn't cure Sarah, but it reminded her she was worth fighting for, and sometimes that reminder is everything.